Ready? Play.
All right, we got Franz Cerundolo taking on Jakub Mensik. They've played once in Beijing last year, actually. So Asian swing, typically quick hard courts. Um, and you got Cerundolo taking down Zverev in Madrid for the second straight year, just playing great tennis. As we talked about with Alex de Minaur, another player who's, been able to consistently, show their level across tournaments this year. Continuing to stack wins and gain confidence, and the form has, just been there essentially from the start. So far, Cerundolo obviously beat Zverev today, played a compatriot in Comensana, which wasn't easy, and got through Mayo to start the tournament. For Mensik, we talked about him briefly when we previewed the Ben Shelton match, but you know, altitude clay, it doesn't get much better for Mensik. The serve, the backhand, the +1, so good. Um, you know, Even at such a young age, this guy's got so much power to him. He essentially cruised through Ben Shelton, who's been playing some really good tennis, and then got through Bublik, who, Bublik, obviously the conditions are awesome for him, but for Bublik, it's just very difficult to maintain a high level across matches, both physically and mentally. So for me, that result not too surprising. And obviously, there's a little funny moment today between Bublik and Mohammed, the chair umpire, where Bublik is going, Mohammed, like back in the day, it wasn't like this. Now, even if you're outside the top 10, these guys are so good. So there's no easy matches, but this one should be awesome, Fergus. I mean,
Yeah,
I think Cerundolo's better apt to the clay, but with the altitude, it just kind of opens up opportunities for both players. And obviously, when you're thinking of Mensik, you're thinking of that big serve and how far that can carry him. In this.
yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's such a devastating weapon for Mensik. I mean, when he gets it right, it's so big. That he hits his spots so well, and he's not a serve. It's like he's not a serve bot. Like he's got so many weapons off the ground that it's ridiculous. But he's sort of these two guys are in such good form, like such good form. Obviously, Mensik winning the Miami Open at the back end of last month, and um, and Cerundolo is second on the most wins this season on the ATP Tour. I think it's 23 wins and counting for Cerundolo this year. Like he's been brilliant form. And I've said this time and time again, Cerundolo is such a good player. He's the best all-court Argentinian since Del Potro, and it's not close. Um, you know, he's won titles on all surfaces. Um, and I'm gonna give him the edge here, simply because I think that Mensik has is still at that point, even though he's already won a Masters, that he can blow hot and cold. And Cerundolo will snatch that with two hands if at any point Mensik starts blowing cold. If he doesn't find the forehand, if the backhand isn't as devastating as he wants it to be, if he starts missing the first serve, you know, it could get. I just feel as though Cerundolo holds that consistency edge over him in all departments. Not that he has bigger weapons by any means, but he holds the consistency in all departments, I feel. So I'm going to give him the edge in three.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm curious how long this kind of thought in my head will last with the Mensik forehand, because you do stack up the weapons, and it's kind of like a Zverev situation for Cerundolo, where the backhand's going to be super super sturdy, but today Cerundolo was just as good on that wing, and then you look at the forehand. I just don't know And, hopefully just we're going to learn more, see more with Mensik, but that forehand, the ability to hold up against, these high level players, especially Cerundolo. He has one of the bigger forehands in the game. But I mean, you just think about it from a consistency standpoint. As you mentioned, I just don't know if, those moments that Mensik can really put it all together. But then, I know we talked about this last time, but those tough moments in Miami, totally different conditions and whatnot, but
Yeah.
able to get through those. With Cerundolo, as a player overall, he has all the skill. What's been the problem has been, his ability to not, stay out with the lead, give himself easy opportunities to hold. Those have been like difficult times for him, and that's why we've seen inconsistencies with his play. But so far so good in Madrid. Serving a lot better, and that just allows him to, use his all-court game at a much higher level and play a little bit more freely. That's when he likes to have fun and using the drop shot, hitting the backhand well and serving well. So I do give the edge to Cerundolo. You think 3 just because of the serving ability, but I'm definitely going Cerundolo here.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.